Bitcoin fell under $90,000 for the first time since April, marking over 6 months that it hadn't reached this price point. Now, within this correction being $37,000, we haven't seen any greed for at least 40 days. What does this mean in regards to a bull market and a bear market when looking at the sentiment of the markets? That's what I'm discussing in today's video, along with how this market can turn itself around. At least what we've seen in prior cycles that show us a major change in trend is coming. Don't go anywhere, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's dive in. I'm going to start with everything that had led up to this point in regards to why the market had to remain bullish, why they had to be bulls, and making it super quick and simple, essentially liquidity. Liquidity was the bullish narrative that we heard for months on end. And when we take a look at the price for 2025, we take a look at a 12-month chart here, Bitcoin is now trading negative in that year. It's almost, it's rarely ever happened, if ever, in a bull market year, that Bitcoin comes back to test the opening price of that particular year and then go on to make a new all-time high. We can go back and have a look at some of the prior years where you've got 2024. Here is your opening price, small rallies, little corrections, and then for 2024, it didn't come back and test the opening price after it's made a significant gain, of course. 2023 started way back down here at $17,000, and we didn't see that price again. Well, we haven't seen it ever. 2022, the price started at 46, 47,000, and of course, it traded underneath that level because that was a bearish year. 2021 started up at around 34K, and on the correction, it came back and tested those lows or that opening price and then ran on to a new high before collapsing. And from there, that was really the weak point of that cycle. So 2021, you had an opening price there for January, roughly around 33K. And on that 50% dump that happened through May and June, the price did come back and test the open. But what happened from there was a very weak rally. So we saw price rally higher, but at the end of the day, it really didn't impress anyone. It ran for a few grand more and then collapsed after that point. That's not what we want to see in a bull market. 2020, of course, had the COVID collapse and then a very, very solid recovery before a strong year to the ending of that year. And 2019, very similar as well, very good year actually. It started with the price at around $3,500 and then ran up to 14K, and we didn't see that price come back to 3.5K for 2019 being the start of the bull year. Same sort of thing, we can keep running back year after year. When it's in a bull market, you don't want to see it come back and test the yearly open. So now that we understand that and where the bullish narrative had come from, we have stimulus checks, we have the government shutdown ended, QT ending, which are all assumed by the masses to be very strong liquidity plays. And then the assumption that because QT ends, QE, quantitative easing, money printers are going to automatically start. That assumption is incorrect. When you look back at history, it doesn't mean it starts straight away. It could be a month, could be a few months, could be 6 months. And so if we prolong how long it's going to take for the money printers to turn back on, we could sink deeper and deeper into a correction, which is why I went through the price structure before explaining the liquidity. If price structure continues to head in this direction and then liquidity turns on, you're starting from a bit of a tough base for this next cycle. Well, for this cycle to continue, which means you turn into a bear market and then you start the next cycle. And when the bear market comes, you're looking somewhere around that 12-month mark like we've seen with prior cycles. So you really don't want to see these things take too long to get started, to get turned on, to come back in. Global liquidity, well, that's basically been a bit of a sideways market there with more liquidity coming through or at least into assets. Fed rate cuts, again, assumed by the masses. They assumed there's going to be more cuts, talking about why it's needed. And when we take a look at the Fed Watch tool, it's 50% either way, that it's going to remain on hold at 4%, or there's going to be a quarter of a point cut, 50-50. And even if there is a quarter of a point, probably not going to do too much, like we've seen already with the last few quarter of a percent cuts to the overall market. The markets have been going up for the stock markets, regardless of the interest rate going up, down, sideways. We've seen a 16-year bull market for the S&P 500, and interest rates have been at 0, they've been at 5%, they're now at 4%. So it's all a matter of the 18-year cycle, as we've pointed out. But we're here to talk about Bitcoin and the fear and greed index. So now we have a basing or an understanding of the liquidity and what the masses had thought at the beginning of the year and all the way up to the peak in October. Liquidity was supposed to bring on another major bull market, and it has not. We've actually seen the largest correction in this entire cycle, and it has also tested the opening price, which is not a great sign for the markets overall. What about the crypto fear and greed index? Where can this lead us? We've seen 40 days since the market experienced any sort of greedy sentiment. That was back just around the tops, right before the $20 billion liquidation day here on the 10th of the 10th, which quickly dumped the sentiment. That was from greed, and the next day it dumped to just a touch above extreme fear. So greed to fear, a very, very big swing in that sentiment. And that's basically killed off any major relief rally that could turn the pricing around, that could turn the structure around. Of course, we didn't know that at the time. We don't know exactly that that was going to be the thing that kills it off. Then we start to get the signals, as I've covered a few times here on the channel, probably a lot more than a few. But then you can also see the double top, then the breakdowns, and so on. The crypto fear and greed index being in below greed for 40 days is not a common thing in bull markets. You can see through 2024, greed into fear, fear, and then quickly back into greed. And you see this bouncing effect between the sentiment, fear and greed, greed and fear. Extreme fear is often met with a quick recovery out of those lows, and it gives a reasonable opportunity to be buying on those dips of extreme fear within a bull market. And yes, this period, it's a reasonable amount of time here. That's extreme fear into neutral and a touch of greed. That's 20 days, back down for 33 days, and back up into greed for 50 days. So you're getting a price structure of higher lows and the sentiment also beginning to climb out of the extreme fear and not coming back to that extreme fear on any of the corrections. Similar sort of thing in the April tariff crash low. You can see a dump into extreme fear and then a bit of a recovery out of those lows, neutral, back down into extreme fear on a lower price, but sentiment was increasing, which led on to a rally. So you got a divergence there between sentiment, not as bad as what the pricing was saying, and we saw a rally here into greed, and that's basically where the top has formed from that point. So what about the bear markets? We know from the bull markets that it doesn't spend all too long just hovering around and heading straight down into extreme fear. What about the bear markets? From the top in November 21, dropped down into extreme fear, and then the rallies were relatively subdued, and each time the pricing came back down, it fell into extreme fear. Extreme fear, red, 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 extreme fear, a little rally out into neutral, which is the yellow here, and then back down into extreme fear, fear, orange, red. You can see that just keeps trading mostly underneath the halfway point, the halfway of our sentiment, and that's in extreme fear and fear. So what I'm getting at here is that from this point, from where we are at this extreme low, if it is going to be a prolonged bear market, then we'd most likely see something like 2022, where you don't see too much time in greed and basically a bear market. You never see extreme greed. There's a couple of days in greed, basically giving you the macro lower high. That was it right on the chart. And then things fell away from that point. What about the price cycle? The most amount of data that we have so far, a little bit of greed, another lower high, and another lower high. And then the most of the time of the bear market is spent underneath greed. Barely a day touching any sort of greed. And that's what we would come to expect from a bear market here. So to save this from falling into a bear market from a sentiment point of view, the fear and greed index must rally to at least neutral and then spend several days in greed. We can cover that if this ever gets to it, how much time and so on. Of course, price structure is important as well. But if this rallies, if this particular rally here, if it is a dead cat bounce, if it's a relief rally, a pity rally, whatever it might be, that particular rally needs to get us into the greed and then hold above the neutral point to consolidate in this greedy part to then push higher again. So I think that's a pretty big one to be watching now to understand whether this is flipping from a bull market to a bear market. I know there's obviously comments where people are often suggesting that it's already a bear market. Sure, just make money, call it a bear, call it a bull, whatever it matters. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The money in your bank account doesn't give a shit whether it's called a bear market or a bull market. The idea is to make money from the market. And if you see changes in trend forming, well then run with the trend. If your trend is in the long side going up, run with that. If your trend and you're trading short is in the downside, then run with that. Again, the money in your bank account, if you have some money in your bank account or your trading account, it doesn't give a shit if you call it a bull market or a bear market. It just wants to make some money here. Of course, I will call it what I want. You do the same. That's my mini rant about bull and bear. So crypto fear and greed index, a good sign as to whether we're going to fall into a longer term downtrend and possible bear market, or if this is just a short-term move to the downside. I've given my thoughts on what I'm thinking is the case at the moment. The market hasn't broken this 70K, 71K level yet, which I think is a very, very important level for this bull market. And I've also talked about how this could carry down, and then I'm looking out towards Q2 and Q3 of 2026 for any sort of basing here above the 50% level for a final rally into late 26. That's a long way off, but unless the 50% is broken, we can still have that as a case. Now, underneath 50%, different story. The next thing is the turnaround, the major changes in trend. And the lead on it is relatively good for the time frame that you're watching. It can also help with major relief rallies or major corrections into higher lows. That just means if we see this thing collapse and then rally out, provided it's broken the overbalance in time and price, meaning it's gone down further and longer in time than the prior corrections, then we know we have a very strong case that any of that rally that comes out of it is most likely going to be a failed rally, and it can give us the opportunity to unload more of that position. Meanwhile, the majority would be thinking that this rally is going to be the saving grace, the holy grail that's going to get them back to this final pump and that they're all going to be rich again. But because of the breakdown of structure, there is a very high chance that that rally will fail below the previous top. Barely if it does make a marginal top, but almost always it fails well below that top, and you get this macro lower high forming, like what we saw here, like what we saw in 2018. And again, there was all these macro lower highs. Meanwhile, you can see the greed really starting to pick up on the fear and greed index. And a lot of people are trying to buy those tops again, thinking that the rally is back on after they've just been through a bull market. Then you get these huge corrections, which basically stunt the bull. The bears are in control. So all these rallies are then met with selling, even though the masses are in greed. It's all there on the chart. You can't dispute that because, well, at least I can't. It's all there on the chart. Everyone's telling us that it's greedy and they get sold off yet again. So that's the overbalance in time and price that we'll be watching for any sort of continued breakdowns and then reverses. The overbalance I've talked about comes in at around, well, where we are now for the price, and the time is in early 2026, because that would mean it's the same correction here. Now, the evidence from prior cycles for a change in trend to the upside, so getting into the bullish state of mind here, would be that Bitcoin needs to overbalance this particular move right now. So this is the longest rally in this correction. And that rally is how many days? We have roughly 17 days and $16,300. So as an example, so that you can know where this thing overbalances, where Bitcoin overbalances to the upside and the bulls may take control, you'd need to see an over $16,300 move more than 17 days. So that would mean roughly around these previous tops at about $107,000, very close to the $108,000 level, and more than 17 days. So if this is the low and it doesn't go lower, then 18 days from today is the 6th of December. Remember, this will have to reset if the price does go below the current low and we do the whole game yet again. So the overbalance in time and price is how we called the 2022 low after we saw the overbalance in, you guessed it, time and price to the upside in 2023. So we go into this in great detail and how we use it in our portfolios to navigate through different cycles with obviously different assets and rotating that capital. You want to learn more about that. Black Friday is coming up. TIA Pro is on sale. There'll be a link in the video description. Join that today. Otherwise, come and join me on Instagram. I've got a Q&A for 24 hours only. That's how stories work on Instagram. Make sure you're following my one and only Instagram so you can ask your questions over there. You can ask about overbalance in time and price, fear and greed, Bitcoin, this 18-year real estate cycle, investing, trading. I'll be over there. Thanks again for your support in the channel, especially through these periods where a lot of people didn't believe that there was further downside to go. We keep presenting whatever the data says, at least to me, and hopefully it works in our favor. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys back here at the next video. Peace.